Good evening. Namaste. The divine within me recognizes and honors the divine within you. Thank you for being here tonight. We come here tonight to feel and to remember the truth about who we are, to bring to the full awareness and out of our whole consciousness anything that might be blocking our good. So I invite you to sit back and to open up and to feel the presence, because it's here in its fullness tonight, just for you. Let's start with our gongs. With all three of them, we'll allow our presence and our breath to become into the now. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Amazing Grace Wednesday night service. So glad that you're here tonight as we're traveling along on this journey all year long about the way of mastery. Mastering that connection with God. Mastering our spiritual journey so that we can be and have and express all that God is in our lives and to share it generously. So tonight we're talking about placing our loyalty and our faith in love, or God being synonymous. Placing our faith and loyalty. You know, I was reading that today and I was thinking loyalty. You know, I've never really used the word loyalty with God. You know, in synonymous with loyalty. And I was thinking about that. I looked up the definitions of that, and loyalty is devotion, it is allegiance, it is trustworthiness, it is faithfulness. And when we start looking about a loyalty to love or a loyalty to God, it's kind of like what was said in David's reading tonight. That normally when we think about loyalty, we put it in person, place, or thing. In life, we expect people to be loyal to us. We expect our job to be loyal to us, our spouse to be loyal to us. We expect loyalty from people or things, relationships. But in reality, as Joel Osteen said, as David read, that change is forever happening. Everything in person, place, and thing is already a manifestation that's already done. Everything in person, place, and thing has a beginning and an end. And so we get our loyalty or we get our faith shaken because that which we put all of our credence on and our focus on changes or leaves us. And so we have trouble in that place of faith. But the truth is when they're talking about put our loyalty and our faith in love, synonymous God, what we're really saying is in love, it never changes. It is always present. It is eternal. It is forever expanding, always becoming more. And we can say we put our faith in our loyalty on love. We put it on peace, which is forever there, forever expanding. We can put our loyalty in wisdom, or I like the word intelligence better, because intelligence means that there's this universe that knows, that's wise and knows exactly what it's doing. So if we were to put our devotion and our allegiance on anything, it would be on God and the qualities of God. Because from there, it is infinite, our comprehension and our use and our expansion of it, if you will. Yes, it's always changing, but it's always changing. It's always becoming bigger and grander in our awareness and our consciousness. Unlike person, place, or thing, which has beginnings and ends, is always coming and going, is always changing, which makes us unsteady and unstable and scared and fearful. When we look at change, and we look at life, and we look at this journey of anchoring ourselves, of knowing the truth of who and what we are, we have to look at the subject of trusting. We have to look at the subject that life is unfolding perfectly. I want to share with you a quote from The Way of Mastery. It says, if your trust is in a requirement that individuals act and behave in a certain way, you have not yet come to trust the perfection of love that is already at work in everyone's life. So if we place our trust in individual acts and in them having to behave in a certain way, we have not yet come to trust the perfection of love that is already at work in every situation and everyone's lives, calling them to deeper levels of remembering. See then the perfection in all events. For the waves that arrive in the temporariness called the world have no power in and of themselves. They are already held in the arms of a perfectly loving God. And each event truly serves no purpose except to nudge that soul, that spark of pure awareness or intelligence, to look deeper beyond its illusions. Everything that is unfolding in God is already perfect. And that's what I love about the Way of Mastery, and what we've been talking about for a while here, is that each event, every unfoldment is a perfect stepping stone to take us to where we want to be. The quote that I've shared that I just love, it's a mantra, it's not happening to me, it's happening for me. I have called in the perfect experience to take me to that higher place, to take me to that deeper spiritual conviction, to take me to that place to where I want to be. It's all unfolding perfectly. And if we look at it piece by piece, if we look at it from a small standpoint, not from a high perspective, it looks like chaos. And so we can't help but in this point to talk about this election and what's happening right now. We have people on both sides, people that are really happy and people that are really worried and fearful. We have an economy that's in difficult place right now. We have lives that are having challenges. We have a battle going against each other. But if we were to apply the spiritual principles that we're trying to live, then we can look up, we can raise up from a higher perspective and look at this chaos. And what we know, Barbara Marks Hubbard, Reverend Christian, shared a quote on Sunday that a lot of people share, but what it's from is that chaos really is the beginning of a major transformation. As Abraham says, these are the worst of times and the best of times. That no matter what's unfolding, it is all absolutely, just as in our own personal life, not only in our lives and the lives of our businesses, the lives of our cities, the lives of our states, the lives of our country, what is happening is that the brilliance of creation is coming forth and transformation is happening. And so as we hold that faith, as we see it could be the worst of times, we know that moving into action, moving in, is new creation and transformation and answers and things that have never been here before. So as we stand, as we commit to see God, to have the eyes of God, to have the loyalty of the power of love and peace and joy and God and all those qualities of God. As we commit to faith, we become that vibrational place. We hold that place card, if you will. We become the space to where that infinite can flow through and as to bring new creation into formation. New answers. We can't keep doing the same thing that we're doing. Newness needs to happen. Love. I love in the Way of Mastery that they say that love embraces, no judgment. Love embraces all things, and love transforms all things. In fact, love brings healing. A lot of what we learn in our spiritual teaching is kind of the opposite of what we've seen in our regular lives. You know, it's a lot of pull and tug and me against you and this, that, and the other and fighting and resisting. But the truth is that if we can raise up high enough, if we can give up our resistance and our judgment and that, if we can raise up and move in that place of faith, of loyalty towards God and love and creation, if we can maintain that vibration, we pull up with us everyone that's in our presence. So this is powerful work that we're doing, and we're not just doing it for ourselves. Yes, it happens and it starts within our lives, but our actions are all interconnected to the whole. And so it looks like it could be the worst of times, but in reality, it's the absolute best of times. Because it's time for something new. It's time for a new creation. It's time for a new way of doing it. And the intelligence of God, the intelligence of the universe is in action. And when it's time for something new, people and consciousnesses and awarenesses open up like they never had opened up before. They're more receptive, and we're receptive to the intelligence and the answers that are already present. As it said, 100% of spiritual growth, 100% of spiritual growth is not about getting something or becoming something. It is literally about letting go. It is about releasing. Because the perfect right action is already here. The intelligence is already here. The love is already here. The wisdom is already here. The harmony, the peace, the joy, it's already here. And so it's through our resistance, it's through our blockages that we're not allowing it to express and come through. But when we get in deep pain or we get in challenges, we tend to open. We tend to be more receptive after we've gone through the initial struggle, if you will. It forces us to. It forces us to surrender. It forces us to be open. So we trust. We trust. It looks like the worst of time, but it's literally the best of time, because new birth, new creation is right here, right now. And so then we look at the concept of creation. And, you know, we've been told all along that in creation, what we had learned in our early metaphysics and our early teaching is that if you want something, you put your attention on it, you put your awareness on it, you use affirmations, you use vision boards, you use visualizations, and you use all of these things to see that which you are wanting. And yes, those are tools that work. They're not necessarily tools that work at a deep level and a permanent level, because it's requiring your power, your volition, you're looking at it all the time, and you doing all of that work. What we're knowing about creation, and even Abraham has talked about it from where they used to have what they called deliberate creation, and now they're calling it the art of allowing. What we're finding is that it's absolutely almost impossible to pick up a subject. Abraham calls it a stick. It says that if you pick up a subject and you call this subject a stick, at one end is the manifestation of it, at the other end is the lack of it. But if it comes into your awareness at all that you don't have it, if you're trying to create something that you don't have, or you're trying to get something, the concept and the realization that you don't have it is so powerful that it's almost more powerful than the concept of the ability to be able to see it or see it as done. And the universe just says yes. It's answering our vibration and where our predominant focus and our predominant beliefs and understanding is. It just says yes to it. So anytime we're saying, I don't have this, or I want this, and it's outside of us, what we're really saying yes to is the lack of it and the not having it. And that's why so many people have been trying to use these principles and use these things to make something happen and to force something to happen. But in reality, they're like as Abraham says, and I love it, she says, where's my stuff? Where is it? I've been told these principles work. I've told this is the way to use these principles. But all along, the power of I need something that I don't have. I need to do something to create something out here so that I can have abundance. I can have a relationship. I can have all those things. I'm going to think really hard on. I'm going to visualize on. I'm going to affirm it. I'm going to do all of these things. What's really answering is the vibration is, I don't have this. Please, universe, give it to me. But we need to bring back that statement. 100% of spiritual growth and development transformation is never about getting, because we're not lacking in anything. It's about releasing. It's about allowing it to flow through and as us. Our prayer is then to become the transformation, for the transformation and the growth to happen within us, to where we become those vessels, those vehicles that are pure, that are flowing, that are unobstructed to the good that is already present, that is already who and what we are. So you take this concept, what happens, people worry, they say, and it's true, because they say, well, my subconscious or my unconscious is thinking about these things and doing all these things. Therefore, I don't have any control and I don't have any power. And so that's why these manifestations are happening right here, because there's something I'm not conscious of. You know, my lack continues because there's something that I'm not conscious of or aware of, or there's some belief from my parents in a long line of family and it's in me and I can't get rid of it, or, you know, number one of those excuses. And yes, that's probably true. There's something like 2,000 thoughts every minute that are going through us, and so much stuff that's going on. And so for us to be in fear and try to fix and change and control and manipulate and make happen, we don't even have a chance. It's too much. But when this is a journey, this spiritual journey is a journey about awareness. It's about consciousness. It's about what we've been talking about all year long. Resist not. Suffering comes when we resist what is. Suffering comes when we don't like what is and we try to change it or manipulate it. Control. So if we were to sit back and rest, if we were to become those consciousness, that awareness, that observing, if we were to see what was here, what's in front of us, you know, our life right now is the demonstration of our consciousness, our awareness. We are the sum total, what's happening in our world right now, the peace, the love, the joy, the relationship, the abundance, the wholeness, the health, is 100% of what's in our vibrational makeup, whether it's ours or whether it's the collective consciousness or whatever it is. So our journey of awareness, our journey of creation, our journey of allowing is a journey of becoming aware, recognizing what's before us, because that's a creation that was established and started a long time ago in thought. Recognizing what's before us and not fighting it or pushing against it or resisting it, but seeing it, loving it, accepting it, shining the light of truth upon it, and then, therefore, with no resistance, releasing it, standing back and just allowing it to go. So that the creations that we're creating now come from this place forward, which are our future creations, and that's what's coming forward, is coming forth from a completely different vibration, a completely different awareness, a completely different consciousness. It affects our future creations. So when we talk about God being love and peace and joy and abundance and wholeness, it's about being that place of love right here, right now. It's about accepting what is. It's about seeing what is fully open. It's about seeing what creations have already happened, remembering that each one of them is a stepping stone that's right here, a gift before us to take us to where we want to be. But if we're pushing against it and fighting and trying not to see it and on, then we're hopeless. But here it is, the gift right before us as we see it and love it and go, the truth is about this, the light on this is, as we shine that light on it, then we release it. It has no power over us. Our whole continent transforms. Everything changes, and our new creations are what we want and completely different than those that we are experiencing right now. That's how we deliberately create. We create through awareness. We create through love. We create through consciousness. We create from a deep faith and loyalty and knowing that love is always expanding, peace is always expanding, it's always becoming more. Not beating ourselves up for where we are or where we are not, because we're expanding and growing, just fully aware. I am a vessel, an unobstructed vessel and vehicle of God. Open and aware and available to anything that wants to present itself for me and through me. And as I have pain, as I have tough experiences, as I have interactions with people that I don't feel good about, I sit down and shine the light on them and know the truth of them and move my continence about an individual or about a situation, move it to love, move it to truth, move it to truly believing that there's an intelligence at work here, there's love active here in the situation, in the people, in everything that's unfolding, and move to that place of faith and non-resistance. I'm going to share with you a reading. I've been also talking to you about the book An Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. And he puts it this way in his last chapter, The Loving Eyes of God. He says, "Does the sun shine more brightly on the saint than on anyone else? Is the air more available to the saint? Does the rain fall on one neighbor's trees more than another? You can turn your eyes from the sun's light and live in darkness for 100 years. If you then turn them towards the light is still there. It is there for you just the same as for the person who has enjoyed its brilliance the last 100 years. God just gives and gives to whoever will receive. Should you choose not to receive, it doesn't punish you. If you say to the light, I will not look at you, I'm going to live in darkness, the light just keeps shining. If you say to God, I don't believe in you and want nothing to do with you, creation continues to sustain you. You can't offend the Divine One. Its very nature is light, love, compassion, protection, and giving. You can't make it stop loving you. It's just like the sun. You can't make the sun stop shining on you. You can only choose not to look at it. The moment you look, you'll see that it's there. The saint sees that God goes into ecstasy when he looks upon this earth, under all conditions and at all times. Ecstasy is the only thing God knows. God's nature is eternal, conscious bliss. No matter what you've done, you're not going to be the one thing that ruins it. The beauty is that you can experience this ecstasy, and when you begin to feel this joy, and that's when you'll know God's nature. Then nobody will upset or disappoint you. Nothing will create a problem. It will all appear as part of the beautiful dance of creation unfolding before you. Your natural state will get higher and higher. You will feel love. You will have a loving God. And love cannot do other than love. Your God is in ecstasy, and there's nothing you can do about it. And if God is in ecstasy, I wonder what God sees when God looks at you. It's powerful, our connection. It's here. It's right here. It's available to us. Nothing that we have to go get or do. It's something that we just allow to move through us. It's through releasing anything that might be blocking it or in its way. It's about having a deep faith and a loyalty to these principles of love and peace and joy, letting love bring healing, letting love transform all things, and just watching the intelligence of the universe, which is already present, watching it go into action and transform all of those things that, if we're looking from a little microscope or from a little perspective, looks like chaos and challenge and problem and difficulties. From the highest perspective, when we see the activity of the intelligence of the entire universe at it, It is a stepping stone that's taking us to higher realization, more love, more peace, and more joy. When we forget, let's remind each other, because we will forget. That's what we're here for. How great it is to be in community of people that remember when I forget, that remind me, that keep anchoring and going deeper in this truth. For God is, and I am, and I claim it right now for all of us. Let us turn within. As we take a big breath and release it. How sweet it is to be able to close our eyes. Because our eyes sees the physical and sees that which was set in motion way before and is the final end manifestation. But I close my eyes to the outside world and I move within to that sacred space that is brand new, that is flowing, that is infinite possibilities, that is grace, that is peace and love and joy, that is guidance, that is good. It is from this place that I see God, that I release anything that might be blocking it. For God is just as that sunlight that is forever shining, and I allow it to shine fully on myself, on each of us, on our path, on this perfect life that we are living. For I know everything is unfolding perfectly. So I just relax. I let go and let God. I give great thanks for this truth, for each individual that is saying yes to this path with each and every step that they take. For I know together we transform our lives in the world. And I am grateful, and so it is. Amen. We're one collective consciousness and one mind, so let's move into that space together. Anyone else that might be on your mind that you're thinking about, even if we don't speak it, we know that if there's somebody that we love, somebody that's in our range of consciousness and awareness, that they're just called forth in here too, because our hearts are all connected. We are all love. We call forth our government. We call forth all of those that are giving and trying to move us through to transformation, to new expression, to our prosperity and our wholeness and our wellness. Those that have stepped forth and are giving of their life to be that vessel, that vehicle to be transformation for this country and for all essences of government and all individual expressions of God. And so it's with a heart that is open. It's with a heart that embraces. It's a heart that has full faith and loyalty in the qualities of God. It's with a beingness and a consciousness that is open and aware and resisting not, sitting back and allowing, raising the vibration of the Most High, loving and transforming all that is, that I hold steady right here and right now for each and every name spoken, for every family and for every individual. For God will not and cannot be denied. Just as the sun is forever shining, we can try to hide in the dark, but the sun is shining. God is, and God is healing, and God is loving, and God is being, and good is happening, and good is who and what we are. I claim it right here and right now, for I know that we cannot stop it. And so it's with the heart that's open and filled with gratitude that I give thanks for these principles, these individuals, this awareness, this consciousness, this truth, and this manifestation, a new manifestation. God is good, and I am grateful, and so it is. Amen. May you always feel the embrace of God. May your heart radiate with joy and peace and abundance and wholeness. May you know that your every step is guarded and guided. And may you feel, sense, and know God's amazing grace. For it is here, in, through, and around us, always and in all ways. God bless you all. Go forth in peace. Good night.